Over the past 8 to 9 years of my life, I've gone to the best mindset, spiritual therapies in the world. And I'm gonna share with you guys today my top one biggest takeaway. For those who are new here, my name is Caden Harrod. I'm the CEO and founder of Coach Harrod. I am obsessed with personal growth and helping people transform themselves, become their best version of them possible. And in the last 8 to 9 years, I've been on my own personal, spiritual, just growth journey in general to get better and accomplish my dreams. And I've gone to at least 6 multiple different types of therapies, mindset coaches, hypnosis, spiritual coaches, the whole 9 yards. And it's all for the intention of getting better, to grow, to dive deeper into myself, to understand myself better, to break through limitations so I can truly step into my dream self. And this journey has been unbelievable. And in the end, it's been good. Every single time, it always ends up good. Doesn't mean there's chaos in the middle, but it always ends up good. And today I want to really share with you my biggest takeaway so that way you can hopefully skip up your process, whatever it may be. If you're trying to break through old traumas, limiting beliefs, if you're trying to accomplish a goal, you're noticing a pattern that keeps repeating itself. If you're feeling stuck in life with your weight, your health, your mindset, my goal is to help you fast track that process after you watch today's training. And if I do, make sure you like and subscribe for more. So let's dive in. I've gone to the hypnosis. I've done the deep hypnosis. I've done the spiritual coaches, psychologists, the whole 9 yards. And when it really boils it down, what I think is the number one biggest takeaway, or the biggest lesson that I've learned here is that you can create yourself. You are not destined to live the rest of your life based off your past programming. And I think what a lot of us think, myself included 8 to 9 years ago, is that I was stuck the way I was. You know, this identity I had was me. But what I realize now is that I am more so, and all of us are like, we would say you're like the sky. And your current identity right now is just a cloud. It's just a piece of you, but you are so much more than that. And oftentimes these clouds for ourselves, they're created through past programming, trauma, belief systems, culture, society, experiences. These are all happening. And up until the age of like 7 to 12, I believe, you are a sponge. So you're just absorbing the world. You're taking it all in. It's like you're being coded. It's like you're being programmed up until that age. So you're learning about the world, how to experience it. You're learning a lot from your parents and the people you surround yourself with growing up. And then eventually it forms into this solidified being, which is you. And you have this mind, this consciousness, this subconscious as well. And then you live the rest of your life. And most of us will live the rest of our lives based on that programming. And it barely ever really changes. Okay, because 96% of our lives are lived off in the subconscious. So all of your traumas, your belief systems, your habits that were built, usually they are there to stay. This is why a lot of when I do weight loss coaching, for example, a lot of people who show up their weight, often, the ones who have 60 plus pounds to lose, I've noticed a strong trend that typically their families also struggle with their weight as well. Maybe their mothers dieted all the time. They had a very unhealthy relationship with food and they passed down that programming pattern to their child. Or that they got called fat growing up and they always believe that about themselves. Or for example, if you grew up in a household where it's never enough and you only got praise for doing good, then you're always going to chase external things to feel that feeling inside. So there's so many ways about it, but the biggest takeaway that I've realized is that you are the creator of your own life. You are truly the creator of your own life. And oftentimes our minds are built up of all this programming. And people who I've noticed who are really, really struggling, it's because they got a lot of wires that are tangled up in their minds. A lot of old limiting beliefs, past experiences, doubts really creeping in. The hope is kind of leaving. So they're dealing with a lot, and it's just a very tangled programming set. But you can change. And that's the magical part about being human and us experiencing this life, is that you're not a victim of your past programming. It might feel like that. You might feel like you're stuck in a prison some days. Like I know for myself, when I struggled with my confidence growing up, after grade 7, when I started hitting puberty and I had a few experiences that shaped my brain differently, I became very insecure. I became very, very insecure, and I thought that's who I was. So I acted that way. I felt that way. I covered up. I didn't want people to see my body. It's literally built the contrast, the pain, the fuel in my life to then build an online company to help hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people transform themselves moving forward. So what you can see is that I took that contrast, I took that pain, that situation, that programming I was dealing with, and I created it into something so beautiful. And we can all do that for ourselves. But what I've noticed is that a lot of people, we're not taught this stuff. And if we don't shout out it, if we don't search for it, we never really find it. So I hope this video came upon you if you are on this searching journey right now. Take that as a sign. But a lot of people, they think that they can't change. They think that they genuinely are not good enough. They think that they are someone who is anxiety. It's a part of them. It's a part of their programming. And we have these beliefs that keep us literally stuck in our own ways. What I always tell my clients is that we build these prisons that we don't even want to be in. But we build them and we live in them, and then we try to find evidence to stay in them. But once we can really realize that, no, it's not like that. We can actually change. Okay, neuroplasticity, for example, if you're looking at the science side of things, you can literally transform yourself. And look at all the evidence in the world. There's people who were homeless who became billionaires. There's people who were major drug addicts who are now, in Congress or working for the top government. Like, so much magic is out there. And it can happen to you as well. And you can truly, truly transform yourself if you desire to, if you step into it. And that's the number one biggest takeaway. I've gone to all the top professionals, and that was the biggest thing that I realized, is that you can truly transform yourself. And professionals are there to help speed up that process. It's like a guide, because what I found was super helpful for me on my journey is having someone there to echo off my thoughts. So as I break apart my own brain in my programming, I have even a journal if you're on your own. Even a journal to write things down so you can break apart your thinking in the way that you process things and really question, is that universally true? Oh no, that's just a truth that was put into me as I grew up, right? Like not being good enough. Were you born not being good enough? No, right? You were just this perfect, beautiful baby. You were still that. You were still so amazing, but somewhere down your life, someone told you that you're not good enough, or that you aren't good enough until you accomplish something, or whatever it may be. But understand that that's just programmed. That's not actually true. So a process that I've learned and then helped kind of create my own, helps me personally, is and I give credit to Abraham on this one, a good teacher. And what it was is basically how I like to look at my life now in my programming is I have the ideal in mind of where I want to go. I have my dream, the vision I have for myself in my life. And then what I do is I work on becoming that and being that now every single day. So I visualize it, I feel it, I act upon it, I identify as it. And as you're going to notice, as you're shifting yourself and transforming yourself, it's not going to be like a linear progress. It's going to be like an ascending spiral. There's contract and then there's expansion. What that means is that if you want to become something new, you have to kill off the old you. So there is going to be that uncomfortable phase. There's going to be that chaos. There's going to become that unknown phase. And this is where a lot of people stop on their journey of growth. Weight loss, for example, they try to lose weight. They start out strong. They have motivation. But then a few weeks in, a few months in, past programming starts to take over. They start to lose motivation. They start to think about the wrong things. They start to have doubt creep in. They start to lose the vision, and their subconscious mind, their old habits start to take over. The results slow down. And the next thing you know, they're right back to their old version of themselves. Same with many other processes, because it's not easy, quote unquote easy. What I mean by that is that the journey itself is in a way easy, because you just got to keep moving forward on that dream. The hard part is the pain, the contrast, the stuff that you have to shed away, because that's old programming that's trying to drag you back. So your safety brain is like, hey, no, don't go, stay in the programming. Because your brain just wants you safe and secure, right? Wants you to stay alive. But we need to enter that cocoon phase where it's the unknown, it's scary, and we're going through the uncomfortable times because we're creating the new version of ourselves. But what I've noticed is that a lot of people, they go backwards in these times. You know, they hit this pain threshold, and again, they go back into old programming. They listen to society norms, you know, the fear, the doubt, the worry, the fear of failure, the anxiety. They dip back into that and they lose focus of where they want to go and how good it's going to be, and they go back into that flow. And then they get stuck in this prison where it's kind of comforting, but they know there's something more. They know there's better out there for them, whatever that may look like. They know that it's out there, but they're stuck in this self-fulfilling loop that they've created that they want to get out of, but they also don't want to get out of. And it becomes such a interesting cycle. So what I've learned is a way to spot this is looking at life as a river. I try to look at my life and my goals and my growth as I'm trying to stay in this river. As long as I stay in the river, it's just going to flow naturally, how it should be. You remember when you were a kid, for example, you just played. You fell down, you get back up. You didn't judge yourself. You didn't sit there and say, I'm not strong enough, I'm not good enough. You just got back up and you kept playing. Right? You know, you hurt yourself, you experience the pain, you let it go. You don't sit there and suffer with it. Right? You're not a victim. You're just being you. So that's what I'm trying to focus on now, is how can I be the most me possible? Right? And how can I feel that love, that confidence, that joy? And as I go on this river of life, what I try to do is every single day I'll journal and I'll recognize the resistance. Think of resistance as something that brings you out of alignment, takes you out of that river of life that you're trying to flow in. And resistance would be like a beaver dam or a blockage that's blocked up in the river. So let's say you're wanting to accomplish a business goal, or you're wanting to get into a relationship, for example. And you have this person that you really like, so that's the flow of the river. Like, you see them and it feels really good. You really like them. But then the resistance pops up of, I'm not good enough to go talk to them. And it doesn't feel good anymore. That itself is resistance. That itself is resistance. Your baby self, who didn't have any labels or no experience in life and society, wouldn't think that way, right? They would just live in the moment and they would just go do and be. But ourselves, now that we have our ego and our logic mind, we got so much experience, right? And a lot of the way things are programmed nowadays, we have this baggage that we carry, so we just self-sabotage. We don't go speak to that person that we want to speak to, and then we get back and we stay in that resistance and we're out of flow. Or you want to build a business, for example, and things aren't going your way, right? Your logical mind, your ego thinks this way. So then you start self-doubting. When maybe in the process, you're actually just creating something that's going to be 100 times better if you just keep going. It's like that picture of the person mining, and they're about 3 inches away from the diamonds, and they've been working at it, but then they gave up. That's what happens to a lot of us, is we're like just a few centimeters close, but we give back to that old programming, and it drives us right back to square one again, over and over and over again, every single time. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what I do is that whenever I notice that this resistance pops up, I challenge it, because I understand that that's not in alignment with me. I want to be feeling as good as best as possible. What that means is that even if an experience is what many people would look at as bad in life, right? A family death or something like that, you know, you go in debt, or you lose a bunch of money, or something terrible happens, you get in a car crash. I want to look at everything in the best light possible. It's going to make me feel the best at the end of the day. And I understand that everything in life is, honestly, it doesn't have meaning. You personally give it meaning by the lens that you're looking through at the situation, right? The meaning that you give that situation. So for example, if someone dies or something like that, I could be a victim and say, this is terrible and life sucks and why does this have to happen? Or I could say, hey, I'm now stronger and I accept this person in their life and they had a beautiful life. And my experience from this now, I'm actually stronger now. So I can handle life a little bit easier. The next time it happens, because it's gonna happen, I can handle that better. I can help my partner. I can help people who go through the same situation. So see, you have one experience, but you can take it a complete different route depending on how you perceive it and the way you handle it. So when I ever have this contrast in my life, when I have this resistance that pops up in my life, what I work on doing is I journal it out and I work through my mind. What would I have to believe to be true to be feeling this stress right now? Oh, that I'm not good enough or things aren't working out my way. Well, is that universally true? No. And then I find evidence on why it's not true. And then I change the belief and I insert a new belief that's aligned and makes me feel a lot better. And I get into that new state and I get back into the river of life. And there's that one log gone. And I just do that consistently. And the more and more and more you do it, the better and better and better your life will keep getting, and the results will come easier. It'll come more in flow rather than force. So that is the biggest takeaway and a little example on how I work through my own processes now. But that's the biggest takeaway that I've experienced through after all these coaches and mindset coaches and therapy and all this stuff, is that oftentimes your reality is created through past programming, beliefs, perspectives, all these different things. And if you're not happy with it, understand that you can change it. You don't have to be a victim to your past programming anymore. And that's the training for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this training. I hope for some of you this clicked in you. And if you do enjoy this, make sure you do like and subscribe for more, much more as will be coming out on these topics. And I'll see you guys on the next training.